Hey guys, we'll get to our next clip in a second, but first I want to touch on something very important to me and our team at TYT. Mental health affects so many people, no matter who you are or what your background is. We at TYT are partnering with BetterHelp so you can access professional, affordable, and convenient counseling through the phone and video chat with therapists at the comfort of your own home. Head over to betterhelp.com/TYT for more info and how you can receive unlimited help from licensed professional counselors from your phone or computer at any time.
The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been controlled by Mick Mulvaney as of late, and Mulvaney has done anything and everything possible to essentially tear the CFPB apart. This is the one bureau that's supposed to look out for you as the consumer. He has dismantled it. Now, in the future, this organization is going to need a new leader because Mulvaney was just supposed to be an interim head of the CFPB. Recent news indicates that the Senate Banking Committee is likely to vote in favor of a woman named Kraninger to be the new head of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Does she have any experience as the head of any government agency? No. Does she have any experience in the financial sector in any way? No. What experience does she have? Well, she has worked as an aide to Republican politicians.
Oh, okay, good.
Yep.
You know, Republican politicians, they just can't wait to protect consumers.
Yeah.
I mean, a favor for the banks, they would never do that. They're always looking out for you guys, saying, how can we regulate the banks to make sure there's enough cops on Wall Street to protect the average American? So she's probably studied in the art of how to screw over consumers to help Wall Street, because that's all the Republicans ever do in Congress.
So very little is known about her because she doesn't really have much experience. But what we do know is who she considers her mentor.
Oh,
and
great.
Her mentor is Mick Mulvaney. She says that she's hoping to do as great of a job as Mulvaney has done with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And literally, the only thing that he's done is dismantle it. So I'll give you specific examples. Among his top donors are payday lenders. And so during the Obama administration, there was some regulation to rein in the behavior of these payday lenders who prey on people in incredibly vulnerable situations. And these payday lenders would also tack on extremely high interest rates, sometimes as high as 300%. There were cases where there were interest rates tacked on at 750%, okay? So they would prey on people in terrible situations who were vulnerable, and then they would be caught in this inescapable cycle of debt. And so there was a lawsuit filed by the federal government against some of these payday lenders. Well, Mick Mulvaney all of a sudden gets into the CFPB, he's in charge, and you know what he did? Drop the lawsuits. So these payday lenders can continue doing what they were doing. They can now get away with it because there's no regulatory body that's enforcing the regulations that were put in place in the first place. And now we're going to have Kraninger come in, if she gets approved by the Senate, and she's just going to continue doing what Mick Mulvaney has done, during his time at the CFPB.
Yeah. So I know there's some good conservatives in the country. I was recently at a Wolfpack event, met John Putner there. He helped take down Eric Cantor in a Republican primary. Dave Brandt ran against him. And they ran a campaign against the big bankers ripping off American people. That's a great campaign. I appreciate that. They're absolutely right about that. Now, are there Republican politicians in office now who crusade against the bankers in a similar way to protect the average American?
No.
The answer is absolutely not. No. They're good conservatives and Republicans across the country at the state level, the local level, voters, sure, okay? But in terms of national Republican politicians, almost to a man, maybe Walter Jones, deeply, deeply conservative, don't agree with him on anything, but he's actually honest. But 99.9% of them, they're corrupt. They work for their donors. They are the swamp, and they rip you off on a regular basis to help these donors, the payday lenders. I mean, who is in charge of Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, protecting consumers, and says, yeah, I bet the payday lender's charging him 750% interest have their best interest in mind. Well, they do have best interest in mind, that's true, but not yours. So Mick Mulvaney's corruption is brazen. To be fair to the payday lenders, they bribed the right guy. They found a guy that they thought, this guy will do anything we tell him. And in Republican circles at the national level, if you raise your hand and say, I will do anything a corporate donor tells me, anything, you will get promoted and promoted and promoted. So Mulvaney got promoted twice within the Trump administration. And so now Kraninger comes in and goes, I'll also be corrupt. I'll be just as corrupt as Mulvaney. Please, please give me an awesome job. Give me a lot of power. And later, by the way, I'll work for those same financial companies and they'll pay me a ton of money for letting me rob you of your hard-earned dollars. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has returned billions of dollars to the American people because it was fraud. The bankers have armies of lawyers. They're not paying billions of dollars if they didn't do it. They did do it. The Protection Bureau protected you. Return that money to the average American. Now Kraninger says, no, I'm not gonna represent you. Just like Mulvaney, I will represent the giant bankers and the payday lenders, and we will rob you blind. And every Republican will vote for her. I guarantee it, I'm telling you ahead of time.
Absolutely.
I guarantee it. They will all vote for her and they'll be proud of it. So the next time you vote for a Republican, why don't you just give them your wallet while you're at it?
So you just touched on something that I want to elaborate on because there is a little bit of hope when it comes to this story, believe it or not. So right now, the Senate Banking Committee is likely to approve her nomination, but they're not the ultimate deciders. The ultimate deciders includes the entire Senate. So the Senate will have to vote on confirming her. They're unlikely to get to that vote until after the midterm election. So with that said, it is incredibly important to elect progressives. I'm not saying elect Democrats, I'm saying elect progressives, people that you know will vote against this nominee.
See, perfect example. I feel like sometimes we're the only people who actually are nonpartisan. And it's ironic because they say, oh, you guys are biased, you have a perspective. No, we have a perspective that is, yes, progressive, but also looking out for the average person. So who also attacks Democrats and Republicans? Almost no one else, right? So in this case, Tom Carper, senator from Delaware, what did he do? He voted to deregulate the banks. He's a Democrat. Why did he do that? Because he takes a giant amount of money from the banks. So is Tom Carper corrupt? Goddamn right he's corrupt. So go vote in a primary for Kerry Harris, who's a Justice Democrat, who refuses to take corporate PAC money. Why do I keep emphasizing that? Because if they take the corporate money, they work for the corporations, they don't work for you. When they don't take it, at least you know that they have a shot at representing you. So go vote for Kerry Harris in Delaware, throw that corrupt Tom Carper out of office, otherwise you'll vote for the bankers for the rest of your life. Go vote in primaries. And by the way, if you're a Republican, go vote in your primaries. I don't know if you could find an honest Republican at the national level in primaries or otherwise. So if you can, bless your heart. If you can't, run for office. Believe in conservative principles. Conservative principles are not robbing the American people on behalf of Wall Street. When did that become a conservative principle? No, almost all of your representatives are corrupt. Understand that and vote them out of office and do it immediately, because if you don't do it right now, as Anna pointed out, after the elections, they'll put her in place. She's promised to rob you and she will rob you, and they'll applaud while doing it. So throw all those bums out.
Have you heard about the new TYT audio network? We have some great new shows for you. Find us wherever you get your podcast by searching for TYT Network, or head over to tyt.com/audio.